Hey guys, what's up? Weasel here. Today we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be talking about YouTube. We're going to be talking about tips to do and start YouTube and to be better at YouTube, if you want to say that. I wrote a blog post because people kept asking me like, yeah, you got any tips or what could I do to be better at YouTube? And I wrote that list that gets shared quite often. And I figured, let's do a video. Let's talk about these individual points to give you guys a better idea what I'm even talking about. Again, the link to the list is below, so you could just read that, go through that real quick. But if you have any questions, this is probably the video for you. Anyways, let's go ahead and go through the points one by one. First off, don't let anyone tell you you're too late to the game. It's not true. And people will do that for everything that's successful. Basically, you feel like, oh man, I'm too late. Look, if I only would have gotten sooner into it, if only I've gotten earlier into it. So many times there's always going to be opportunities, and yeah, sure, if you would have started earlier with something, you might have gotten the initial boost when everything was growing really fast. But basically, you're not late to the YouTube game. YouTube is as big of a platform as it ever was, and there's more and more users and it's becoming more and more established. You're not late. You can say, yeah, you're late if something is dying off actively or people switching to a different platform like, MySpace. You might be late to the MySpace game at this point. You're really late. You should not go on MySpace. But it's an excuse. Don't think, oh, I can't do it because I'm late. That's saying like I can't write a book because there's already been so many successful books out there. There's always going to be more books. There's always going to be new YouTube channels. There's always going to be new content, and people want to see new content. I mean, technically, there's so much content out there, you wouldn't even need new content. But there's new games, and there's always a chance to find your niche and to go into the market and be successful. And if I say market, it sounds very dry, but that is basically what it is. My next point was watch tutorials by other YouTubers and read up on the topics. Learn how to edit your videos, and that just goes not only for YouTube, it goes for every job in life. You gotta evolve, you gotta grow, and you gotta get better at the things you do. There's so much on YouTube. There are so many tutorials, how to use editing software, how to use Photoshop, about composition, about all those things that are super critical to create good content. You don't have to invent the wheel by yourself. You can just go ahead and Google how to edit videos in Premiere, or how to make great videos in Premiere, or any kind of variation from that, or Vegas, or how to edit videos for free with free software. Use GIMP. There's so much stuff out there, and there's articles like mine, for example. You can learn a lot from other people, and people are willing to share. And if you ask them properly, they will also gladly share their experience and their information. And it is so critical to know what you're doing, and it's going to help you massively. If you learn how to edit a video properly, you're going to save so much time in the long run. Yes, you might have to sit down for a day and learn how to use GIMP, but your thumbnails are going to be so much better. So basically, go ahead and learn and keep learning. Don't rely on old software that's not really working. Learn how to properly record your footage on your computer. Understand what the differences are. There's a lot of videos out there. You're on a platform that's basically ideal for learning. So go ahead and learn. Next up, you gotta always try to improve your commentary. You gotta avoid fillers like things like that. You gotta pay attention to your commentary. You gotta listen to it yourself. After you recorded something, listen to it. It's tempting to just record something, upload, and like, I don't want to listen to it. I'm horrible. You gotta listen to your own stuff, especially in the beginning. Eventually, you're gonna be in the flow. Eventually, you're gonna have an idea what you're doing. Your commentary is gonna be consistent. You know of your own mistakes. But in the beginning, you're gonna have to try to actively improve your commentary. That's not something that it's something that's gonna improve over time as you just record more and have more things to say. But you're gonna be so much better, so much faster if you actively take your video and actively listen to what you're possibly doing wrong, and remind yourself of that and try to improve on. The next point is kind of one of my personal most important ones that I think are important for doing YouTube in the long run. Play what you enjoy. Play games you're good at. Play games that make you happy, that you enjoy. Because first of all, you're doing YouTube for the fun of it. If you're going into YouTube to make money, don't. Just seriously, don't go into YouTube to expect money. That's like writing a novel to expect to make a living off of it. It's great when it happens, and it takes a lot of work to get there, but I wouldn't bet on it. You gotta do it because you enjoy doing it. You gotta enjoy it because you love the games and you want to play more of the games and talk to people about it and show them how you properly play it, something like that. And you can play anything you want. There's always gonna be a niche. Yes, you're not gonna be growing explosively if you play small niche games. And you're going to build a community around that. Wouldn't you rather have a community of people that enjoy the same games that you do and that you can relate to and that can relate to you? Or do you just want to play games that are popular and gather an audience that doesn't really care about the games you like? Okay, one thing that I see over and over again is people sharing their YouTube channels in other YouTubers' comments. I get the idea. You're basically trying to advertise to people that are interested in the same games in the comments, and I understand the reasoning behind that, but it just doesn't work. First of all, you're gonna get filtered out through spam. Google is really good at that, to see that, and your message is usually not unique. Of course, if you have your own YouTube channel where you play that game and you write a handcrafted message to someone because you genuinely enjoy them and, you know, maybe you have a video about something they should watch, that might work here and there, sure, but it's mostly 99% of the time it is a message that's like, oh man, I really love your video. You know what? I'm also playing that game. You should totally check out my channel. It's not only annoying, it doesn't do any good for you. You're spending so much time trying to comment and trying to get people over that way. You might as well put that time and effort into creating better content or do other strategies, which I will talk about later on, but just don't spam your links in comments or anywhere. It's not going to help you grow. Same thing goes with don't do a sub for sub or anything similarly stupid. Sub for sub is pointless for the same reason. You're spending so much time for something that has basically no return. You're asking someone to subscribe to your channel that doesn't even care for your videos. They're not going to watch your videos, and in the end, you want people that watch your videos, subscribers, real subscribers that interact, that watch your videos, because it doesn't help you to have 10,000 subscribers if not a single one watches your video. Or 20, or even 100,000. You can have 1 million subscribers, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, on numbers it might look cool, like, oh wow, look at that, I have 1 million subscribers. It doesn't matter if nobody's watching your video or nobody cares, and they just, do it. If you subscribe to someone else, are you going to watch their videos? Are you going to interact with them? Do you subscribe to that person, a sub for sub, because you're like, oh man, I really like his channel? No, you're just doing it to bring up a number that doesn't really mean a whole lot. And you're going to be able to grow way faster by putting effort into your content. Talking about obsessing over things like sub numbers, don't obsess so much over your sound installation and hardware before you got your commentary down. That's what I see a lot of people do. They invest a lot of money into a really good microphone, they pat down their whole room, and they really worry in the comments of subreddits and forums how they can improve their voice. And I've been obsessed like that too, and it's stupid. Yes, sound quality is extremely important. I agree with you. I'm not saying, don't give a damn. But it's not the most important thing. And it doesn't make a difference if you have a baby blue bottle or an Audio Technica or any other microphone. A medium-priced microphone in a room that's not totally echoey is going to be better than, of course, being in a huge room with a headset microphone or something like that, obviously. But don't try to perfect it. Even if there is a little bit of an echo in the background, it's not that bad. It's not that important. It doesn't help you if you have a perfect sound setup, but you don't really know what to say, or you use filler words and stuff like that. Don't obsess so much about perfecting the hardware. Try to improve your commentary first. You can do that stuff later on, no problem. respect every other YouTuber, or at least treat them with respect. Even if you don't agree with their opinions, even if you don't like their videos, if you think their videos are bad, still treat them with respect. They're trying to achieve the same things you do. They try to be successful at something. They work really hard on it, possibly. And even if they don't, you don't help anyone by being disrespectful. If someone asks for help, try to help them. I'm not saying give away anything for free, or if someone asks for a shout out, give them a shout out or something like that. I'm just saying be respectful. Don't put anyone down. You're not helping anyone, and you're just making yourself seem like an asshole. Same goes with your viewers. Treat them with respect. Yes, there are viewers that can be insulting. You could just delete that comment or ignore it. Sometimes a witty response is fine, but don't get into arguments. Don't fight in the comments. Delete insulting comments and or ignore them. Even if a viewer is complaining about your play style or even thinks that you're doing a horrible commentary, if he says like, your commentary sucks, man, don't get bent out of shape. Be the bigger person and take the criticism. Just ask them about, hey, thank you for your comment. Let me know what I could improve. Do you have any specific tips for me? I'm absolutely serious about this. Ask them for constructive criticism. Be friendly to them, even if they're insulting. Sometimes, just delete the comment. It's pointless. But if they criticize anything you do, ask them for tips. First of all, they're going to engage more with you. And if you're friendly to them and if you ask them for constructive criticism, you can turn what I would call a hater into a supporter. Yes, if you actually engage with someone and you're friendly and polite and ask them for help, you might actually get a response. I had so many times where I replied to an angry comment like, oh man, you're really shitty at this game. I was like, I'm just playing it to have fun. Do you have any tips? If you're really good at the game, I would appreciate that. And then they went ahead and it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know you would respond. And here are some tips. And that person followed me on Twitter and I see their comments regularly below. And then you got someone that's, supporting you. You can turn that around. And even if you don't, it makes you seem like the bigger person. People will read the comments. They will see how you react to other people. What would you much rather prefer? Someone who's friendly to an idiot in the comments, or someone who goes onto their level and starts to complain about them, something like that. So yeah, keep that in mind. This is really important. And if you're a small channel, this is important to really make sure that you grow your fan base or your community slowly and carefully. It's really, really important. Make sure to try something different. Don't always do what everyone else is doing. I know it's easy to fall into that trap to see like a successful video and then try to do the same. I'm super guilty of that. I've been trying to do different things, and there's nothing wrong with copying someone. This is like how you can learn a lot. Basically, it's fake it until you make it, where you copy someone else's style and eventually you're gonna make it your own. That's nothing wrong. Like, I'm not going to say copying because I feel it has a negative connotation on YouTube, like, oh, you're copying PewDiePie, or I don't even know. God, that is so silly. But there's nothing wrong with imitating someone to find out if you enjoy doing that style or something like that. That's part of being creative, is taking pieces from other works and figuring them out. But, one-to-one copying someone is usually not going to work because you're a different person. You don't necessarily are the same style of commentator that the other YouTuber is. So, try different things. Just experiment. There's nothing wrong with that. Who knows, maybe you're going to come up with a hilarious video that's going to get shared like crazy, and then what people love about you. Who knows? But if you just copy something, if you just do exactly the same as everyone else is doing, you're gonna have a hard time growing. And I think I should point this out once more. Don't take mean comments to heart. It's so important to not be discouraged. There's gonna be people that will straight up tell you, you suck at YouTube, you suck at what you're doing, stop doing it, will unsubscribe. And it can really, really hurt in the beginning. You gotta grow a thick skin on YouTube if you're doing Let's Play commentary. You're gonna get insulted, and I don't know why people have this need to tell you in the comments that you suck at what you're doing. And it's normal for that. People won't like your style. People think you're playing the game wrong. I play games wrong all the time. I'm horrible at playing games, to the point where I'm saying that during the video, like, hey, I'm bad at this. If you expect good gameplay, do not watch this. It's important because people really get bent out of shape out of their favorite game. You will get insults hurled at you if you miss something in the game or see something different than they do. It's odd. Some people are really engaged with their title, and some people are just straight up trying to bait an answer from you or bait a comment or just don't like your style. Just you gotta be aware of that. It's gonna come. Everybody gets these. Sometimes they are more, sometimes they are less. I'm saying don't ignore constructive criticism. You will need it to grow, but don't take mean comments to heart and just delete insults. Straight up insults like fuck you. Just delete them. There's no point in engaging with that. Someone is just being an ass. You don't need to answer. You don't need to listen. You don't need to be friendly to him. Just block him. They might have a really shitty day and they're just looking for an outlet. You don't know. Something might have went horribly wrong in their life and they need to vent somehow. Just don't take it personal, even though it feels like it. Just ignore it. Try your best to do it. It's something you're going to learn over time the more it happens. The first one is going to hurt real bad, but as time goes on, you're going to learn to ignore or engage if necessary. That's something only experience will teach you, I guess. About taking it personal, it's important to know that if a YouTuber doesn't want to collaborate with you, it's not necessarily because of you. It's we're busy people and we're less social than you might think. Yeah, people look very extroverted on their YouTube channel. They look very energetic. That doesn't necessarily mean they want to like talk to a stranger, which you are at that point, and play games with them. And also, let's be honest about the fact you want to collaborate with a big YouTuber because he's a big YouTuber and he has a reach. Yes, of course, collaborating helps you grow a little bit, but you got to understand the other side as well. If you are a small channel asking a big YouTuber to collaborate, it's not that they think you are a lesser YouTuber or a lesser person. It's just it takes a lot of effort, and if there's barely any return, you can understand how that's less enticing. You got to remember, doing a collaboration takes hours to set up, to record, and then hours to edit it afterwards. And it's taking up a slot on your channel as well, and you don't even know if you have a good chemistry. First, you got to get to know each other, and it's gonna be a longer process. So if you're a small channel with, let's say, 100 subscribers, and the other person's a channel with, I don't know, 10,000, just throwing some random numbers out there, they're not going to gain a whole lot from doing this collaboration. Yes, it could be fun to play with that person, but you got to understand, in the end, if you get asked a lot by people to play with you, or by strangers because, you know, you don't necessarily know them, you might not want to do that. They might just not like your style. That's totally possible as well. Everyone has a different style, and if you watch a video of someone else and you're not really interested, if you don't think they're funny or you don't like them necessarily in terms of how they do their content or what kind of content they do, then you might just not want to collaborate with them. People that I collaborate with are people that I usually approach that I think are hilarious and I really like them. And I get rejected too, absolutely, and that's totally fine. I don't take it personal. Why would I? And I have a close-knit group when I really want to play something multiplayer that I can just reach out to. They understand the process, they're fast, they're efficient, and it works really well, and we're having a lot of fun. So you're kind of more enticed to play with people you know and enjoy playing with. Man, I went on for quite a bit with that point. Remember that people subscribe for you. Yes, that seems like an odd concept, and some people do subscribe because you play a certain game and they will not watch you anymore if you don't play that game. But most people, and the people you gotta keep in mind, are the people that subscribe for you. I tend to forget that, and sometimes I play games, a lot of games that are popular, and all of a sudden I have this influx of people that really enjoy this game and really like this game, want to see more of this game, and once I don't play this game anymore, all of a sudden they're really upset and they don't really want to watch anything else. That's okay. That will always happen. don't get upset over that and just try to force yourself to play that one game just to please them. If they don't stay for you, they're not going to stay in the long run anyway. Make sure that you enjoy what you're playing, and it's nothing wrong to play something popular to grow. Just don't expect everyone to stay along for the whole ride and for all the games you play. If they only enjoy flight simulators and you stop playing flight simulators, you might lose a chunk of your audience, but you're going to keep the people that really enjoy you for your content, and those are the important people. Also, help other people that want to start YouTube, Twitch, or anything in life. That's more of a general thing, but if someone asks you for advice or if you know things, give back. Try to help people to become better at something that you can do. Mentor them, help them out. You don't necessarily need to answer the same question over and over again. That can get old, and I get that. And that's why I did this article. That's why I wrote it, and that's why I'm doing this video now. This is my kind of way of like, hey, you want to start YouTube? I understand. Let me help you. Let me give you some of my experience so you don't have to learn everything by yourself and invent the wheel. So yeah, this is what I'm doing, and maybe you have something you can give back. And even if it's game tutorials, that's fine too. Trust me, if you do something like this, you will feel much happier because you're helping people, and that's a good feeling. It's really a great feeling. And there's no such thing as competition on YouTube like that, where you say like, well, I'm not going to help them because they're going to steal my subscribers. This is not a thing. There are so many channels. There's so many people watching. It's not going to make a difference whatsoever if you help someone. If you think that, you're very paranoid, and you should really take a good hard look at your mind, because there's no such thing as if one person is successful, the other person won't be successful anymore. There's plenty of views to go around. There's plenty of people and eyes. Don't expect the same enthusiasm from your friends that don't do YouTube. This is an important tip and something to remember. They will probably not fully understand it. Go and find a group online. Go and contact YouTubers that you think are funny and that you enjoy watching at your size, and talk to them and exchange experiences with them. Talk to them. One of my best friends is a YouTuber. My wife used to do YouTube. These are people I really clicked with because I could really exchange my thoughts about YouTube, really talk about the whole thing. And people that don't use YouTube, they don't care about your YouTube. It's imagine you're working in a factory and you're producing bolts and nuts. Someone who doesn't produce bolts and nuts is probably not going to be very interested in how much bolts you produced yesterday versus tomorrow and what you can do to improve the bolt and nut production. You get where I'm going with this really weird analogy. But yes, it's a very specific topic, and people won't really understand it. You can try to explain it, and sometimes, people will listen and people will be interested. Don't take it personally. It is a very specific occupation, and it's hard to understand. It's like programmers. If you're a programmer and you're trying to talk to a non-programmer about a programming language, they're just gonna look at you like, that's interesting. I guess I didn't know that. It's just the way it is. Try to find people that share your interest, and you're going to need an outlet to talk about. And it's going to feel so good to exchange knowledge and to exchange experience and compare data. That's a great way to, first of all, get to know people, grow at doing YouTube, and have fun doing it. And also not be as discouraged, because there's things that are going to happen and they might discourage you. But then you see like, all of the other people also have the same problem. One of the big examples is when there's a CPM drop. All of a sudden you get way less money for your views, and you're just like, what did I do wrong? Did I screw up something? And then you talk to people like, everyone has the same problem. How does that happen? And then you learn, it's because the advertisement season is over, something like that. But you will freak out otherwise. So go ahead and find people to talk about YouTube with. One of the things that ties back to an earlier tip, and I'm just going to quickly mention, is watch your video after recording it and ask yourself, what can I do better next time? It's really important to take that hard look at your content, and don't sugarcoat it. If you do something wrong, if you stutter, if you use filler words like or just forget to talk. Try to work on these specific things. Maybe write them down. Put a post-it note on your monitor. Just, don't ignore your mistakes and think they're gonna fix themselves. Learn how to make engaging thumbnails. That also ties back to an earlier tip where you should learn about the different things and tools you use. The same goes for thumbnails. You can learn how to make better thumbnails. You can ask other people how they do theirs. You can look at other people how they do theirs. But there's many good resources online available on composition, on just general graphic design. And it doesn't hurt to spend a few hours learning about contrast, about color, about, just composition in general, and it will help. Don't use too much text on the thumbnail. Make sure you can read it. People are going to see a very small version of it. I see it over and over again where people make their thumbnail and they do it in full screen and just write all this text on it and use these fancy fonts that are really hard to see once you scale it down. If you make the thumbnail the size that you see it on your smartphone or on your computer when you browse, and you can still read everything and it's very clear and understandable, then it's a good thumbnail. It might not be the best thumbnail, but it's better than having too much text that nobody can read or too many small details. Tying in with thumbnails, don't be lazy. Write descriptions and tags. That's really important. That's how you're going to get discovered. SEO, searchability, tags, that stuff is going to make people find your videos or get suggested to related videos. If you don't write a description and tags, you might as well not upload it. It's silly. Like, yes, you see maybe some people, some really big YouTubers that barely have any descriptions or just like a handful of tags, maybe one or two. Yes, they don't need to do it because they're just friggin' huge YouTubers. Like Critical, he writes, "This is the best game ever," as a description. Maybe has a handful of tags. He doesn't need to do it. People subscribe to him for his style and they really enjoy it. But if you see it and you think like, oh, well, I guess I don't need descriptions myself or tags, you're wrong. You need that stuff. It's really hard to be found without that. Make sure, watch some videos, YouTube creators. There's fantastic videos about descriptions and tags and how to write them. Watch it. You're gonna need it. Trust me. This is one of the most important things next to thumbnails and your content itself. Be consistent and upload on a schedule. If you can't keep to the schedule, do less, but stay consistent. Very, very important. Don't do 3 videos in one day and then do nothing for a week, then do 2 videos, do nothing for a month, and do another video. Do it regularly. If you barely have time to do YouTube videos, do them consistently but further apart. Do them once a week if you can only manage to do that. If you only have the time to do that, do them once a week. Record 3 videos at once and then, release them every few days, but stay consistent so people can't expect you. Also, it's important because YouTube will take that into consideration. If you upload videos regularly, you will be ranking higher because you create regular content. If you all of a sudden stop making content for a month, you're just going to drop. You're not going to be very successful in gaining momentum. You need to have a regular schedule. Again, if you're too busy to upload videos in a very short time frame, just extend the distance between the videos, but stay consistent. Do once a week. Tell people about it. Like, hey, I do 1 YouTube video per week. Gaming videos especially, people want consistency. They want to watch the video maybe on the next day or 3 days later, but they want to know when they can expect that. People are getting engaged with your series and they want to see the next part or the next of your videos. Stay consistent, it's really worth it. Also, don't beat yourself up if life gets in the way. That can happen too. If you're consistent and you're doing every day a video and then all of a sudden something happens and you can't do something for a few days or a week or I don't know, don't beat yourself up. Life comes first. It's okay. It's not going to be over. Don't obsess over it, but try to stay as consistent as possible. Don't expect anyone to give you shoutouts. They won't help you if your content sucks. It's really important. I actually wrote in the blog, they won't help you if your content isn't good. But let's be frank about this. People ask me for shoutouts all the time. I get them on Twitter, I get them on YouTube, I get them on Facebook. Like, hey, could you shout out my channel? What's that going to do unless you are good? I'm not going to help you by doing a shout out for you. Subscribe to Minecraft Gamer 123 and you have like 3 videos on your channel and it's really low quality of video and mic, and I need to see that you put a lot of effort into it. I will give people a shout out if they have put the effort in, if their content is really good, because I'm basically putting my name on the line, saying, hey guys, check out this channel, you will enjoy their content. That is what I'm doing. So if I send people over and say like, hey, check out this guy, and the content is really bad, people are like, why are you recommending this? I don't enjoy this. This has nothing to do with my interest. That's, you know, if someone does Call of Duty montages and wants a shout out on my channel, you're not gonna get a single subscriber. The only thing that's gonna happen is that your name is mentioned somewhere. But yes, just don't ask. It seems silly and it doesn't do anything. If someone wants to give you a shout out, they will do that on their own. They will do that because you help them out somehow, you work with them, you're engaged with them, but not because you asked them to give you a shout out. That's just a super odd thing to ask someone to do, and it's not going to help you. It's like sub for sub. It's pointless. Don't do it. Use social media to your advantage. Don't just auto-post your videos there, engage with your audience. Twitter is a great tool. It's not the... Use social media to your advantage. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it allows you to engage with your audience, which is the most important part. Yes, you're not going to get a whole lot of views by posting your videos on Twitter. People are going to ignore it. Maybe here and there they're going to watch something. Unless you're bigger, they don't have a huge impact. But it's a way for people to interact with you. It's a way of people to contact you outside from YouTube. Maybe you get already a few YouTube comments and people want to like kind of talk to you. They might be able to contact you on Twitter and you can build up a community there. Also, it allows you to stay engaged with other creators. You see what they're doing, or reach out to them. Just retweet something they tweet, talk to them, and yeah, use social media for that. Use it to grow your community and engage with other communities and other creators. That's what it's for. Don't expect it to do your work or anything, and just, you know, don't only use it to auto-post your videos to Twitter. You might as well not have it then. Talking about social media and all these things I mentioned before, expect to spend a lot of time on your new hobby. It's not going to be your job right out of the bat. Even if you spend a lot of time on it, it's not going to pay for itself. I spend, when I started YouTube, at least 8 hours a day doing YouTube. At least 8 hours, because you're going to engage, you're going to watch your analytics and try to understand how YouTube works. You're going to watch videos, how to get better. You're going to make the content. You're going to make the thumbnails. You're going to spend a lot of time doing your hobby, and you're going to have to put that time. And it is very time consuming to put that, to make it, to grow it. If you want to grow your YouTube channel, you're going to have to put a lot of time in it. You have to make videos regularly. You're going to find the time, and you're just going to keep going at it. And yes, expect to spend a lot of your free time on it. And people won't see that necessarily. It's not that you're going to spend a lot of time on that and it's going to make an immediate return. You might as well spend full-time effort on top of your full-time job doing YouTube and having a handful of subscribers to show for. And that's normal. Everybody starts at the bottom. Everybody starts with 0 subscribers. So you're just going to have to spend a lot of time and, you know, expect that. Don't think you can just put like 2 hours in a week and you're going to become this big YouTuber. It's not going to happen. If you want to grow, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to put the work in. It's with everything. You're going to have to put the work in. I hate to say that. It's not a get rich easy scheme or something like that. It is a job. It is a full-time job if you want to be successful at it. Okay, this one ties in a little bit with the first one where I said you're late to the game. Don't listen to people that say that. It's important to point out, unless you're very, very good or you have a very unique idea, don't try to do a Minecraft-focused channel. There's way too much competition to gain traction. If you want to make one anyway, make sure to switch up the content with other games to gain new subscribers. It's incredibly hard to gain traction with Minecraft. I'm not saying don't play Minecraft, but don't try to establish a Minecraft-focused channel. The competition is crazy. Also, you're just focusing on one game and you're basically trying to get subscribers based on the game. As soon as you do something else, they're going to be like, what is this? I don't care. I want to watch Minecraft. I can't stop you. If you want to do a Minecraft channel, hey, be my guest. I'm just telling you, unless you're doing something very unique, you're gonna drown in a sea of Minecraft videos. This is one of the hardest competed video games still. One point that I have to make is you are not your subscriber counter or view counter. It's incredibly important to not obsess over numbers, and I am so guilty of this. You're gonna look at your numbers, maybe you're even gonna have a spike. Maybe you're all of a sudden going to get views, like you play a popular game or you played an indie game and all of a sudden it became popular. Now you're suggested and you get a few thousand views all of a sudden. Oh my God, where are these views coming from? And a week later, you're nearly back down to where you were before. Maybe you have a few more subscribers, so your view count is a little bit higher, but all of a sudden you're not growing that fast anymore. And that's also normal. There's times of growth and there's times of, non-growth or just, where you peak a little bit. It's totally normal. You can't really actively change those numbers. It's a little bit of luck too. Of course, you're gonna have to put effort in to make your content better, and you should always look at how to make it better. But apart from that, there's only so much you can do. There's a lot of competition. There's an algorithm that is not fully understand the YouTube sorting algorithm, and sometimes you just don't have the influence, and it feels like you're failing. You're not failing, okay? Don't try to put that into your mind that, oh man, I didn't gain any subscribers this week. Yeah, that might happen. It takes a long time, and sometimes there's going to be phases where you're barely going to gain some. Look at your content and see if you can improve it. Take that as a unique opportunity to like, okay, I still am very fresh. I can move my content around. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe I can do something else or try something different. See it as an opportunity, and also don't beat yourself up if the numbers go down. And a lot of YouTubers have the same problem. It's not that you're alone with this or that something's wrong with you. Trust me when I tell you that everyone's definitely insecure. Unless you really made it and it doesn't matter anymore what you're doing, you're gonna be really insecure about your numbers. It's a weird thing. If you focus on subscriber count, view count for such a long time, kind of your mental health gets attached to this. And me telling you don't do that is probably not gonna do much, but just try to keep it in the back of your mind that everybody goes for this. Everybody has doubts. Everybody's going to be worried that they're not going to do well. Even if you're doing well, and I have that plenty of time, you will have thoughts like, I'm going to fail this. This is not going to last. I'm an imposter. I shouldn't be successful. I don't understand this. This is normal. This is a really tricky thing to do. YouTube is a very number-driven game. But then again, you don't really have that direct influence over the numbers. You can really work your butt off, you can have really good content, and sometimes you just won't grow, and all of a sudden you do something completely unrelated and it does really well. And that doesn't really bode well for your mental health sometimes. Just keep it in mind, don't get discouraged, and talk to someone about it. Really talk to another YouTuber about it. Try to find someone that can relate. And it's normal. Also about that, growth in the beginning is slow. Don't get discouraged. It can take years, but you can do it. It took me like 2 years to get to a point where I was like, oh, this is actually significant, and maybe I can make a living out of this. And after 3 years, I'm like, okay, I can actually turn this into a living. It's like a business. They say it can take up to 2 years to break even, maybe sometimes even more. You don't have a whole lot of like startup cost with your YouTube channel, maybe a microphone, maybe a headset and some games, or maybe even a computer, which is not a whole lot if you consider opening up another business. But it can take the same amount of time. You're gonna have to put the manpower in, and that's your personal time. Just imagine doing a full-time job you don't get paid for 2 years in the hopes that you will get a salary. It's like the longest internship. That is basically how it is. Yes, you can get lucky and after a short amount of time all of a sudden like explode on a game, and that's luck, but it's like writing a novel. It will take a long time. You might spend a year writing a novel or working on your YouTube channel, and nobody's gonna read it. Maybe you're gonna have a few people reading it, but it might take a few novels to actually make a living of it. Both is possible. I'm just saying, don't expect to be successful automatically and expect to spend a lot of time on it. It might be tempting to buy subscribers or Twitter followers or any of that. Don't. Absolutely do not buy any of that. It ties in with the sub for sub, it ties in with the advertising and comments. It will not help you, especially buying subscribers. Other YouTubers can tell. There's a thing like Social Blade. You can tell if someone buys subscribers or views because it's not healthy and it's gonna look wrong. It's very easy to spot and it doesn't help you. You're spending money on bots looking at something. It's not that all of a sudden that is what held you back in terms of success. It's not that, it's the content. Do not buy subscribers, do not buy Twitter followers. It just looks stupid. I have people, I know other YouTubers that bought Twitter followers and they regretted it because they have this huge this huge follower number, but they don't interact and they're all fake, and it doesn't feel good. Trust me, you're gonna feel filthy and it feels stupid, and people know that you did it. It's pointless. Don't overexert yourself too often. Yes, you can do a long night of recording to try to do that, but it will burn you out. Get some sleep instead. Record when you're in a good mood and when you're awake. I know it's tricky to balance work and YouTube, and sometimes it might be worth putting in a few extra hours, but don't do it every single day. Don't overexert yourself. You got into this because it is something you're passionate about. It's something you enjoy, and it is, somewhat of a hobby. I don't know, but it is your passion. You don't go into YouTube because you want to earn money. You get a job if you want to earn money. You go into this because this is appealing to you. You want to do your own decisions. You want to work on your own schedule and stuff like that. If you overexert yourself and burn yourself out to the point that you start to hate doing it, it's pointless and you're gonna stop doing it. You gotta take some breaks here and there. You gotta listen to your own body. Okay, something more specific is don't sign the first network that contacts you. There's going to be a lot of networks that are going to contact you, especially if you start growing. Do not sign the first one that comes along. Don't believe their numbers. They're going to tell you about crazy ECPMs. They're going to put you in a lock-in contract. It's 2016. Don't sign a lock-in contract anymore. There's no point unless they give you something amazing in return. Don't sign a lock-in contract, and you don't even need an MCN in the beginning. It might seem like such a huge feat. Oh my god, I signed with TGN. It's a network. Yes, they can help you here and there to monetize your videos, and they might be helpful in one case or the other, but sign with something that other people use. Don't just go for the biggest one. Personal recommendation would be Curse, because they don't lock you in, and if you don't like them, you're unhappy with them, just you can leave them within a month. Just try that. Do not ever sign a contract for 12 months or even 24 months that you can get out of. It's bullshit. Do not do it. I've seen so many people that signed a contract that couldn't get out for a long time, and then they don't reply, and it keeps extending. You forget about it, and it's just straight up silly. Don't do it. Don't sign a contract. And if they want to lock you in, there's plenty of networks out there that won't lock you in, that you can leave within a month if you don't like them. And last but not least, don't think about going full-time unless you already make the money. I've seen it happen several times, people going full-time, quitting their job, and really going full out on YouTube in the hopes that it will work out. That's like going full-time to become a rock star. Yes, it can work out, but unless you have a safety net or know what you're going to do in case you don't make any money for a long period of time, don't do it. You're going to run into troubles. Don't go full-time unless you can afford it. Really, it's important. One last thing, though, is that I should point out, again, this is based on my experience with my YouTube Let's Play channel. If you have other YouTube channels, keep in mind things might work differently. Things might not apply to you. Also, don't take everything I say at face value. These are tips. These are my personal experiences with YouTube and from talking to other YouTube creators. That doesn't necessarily mean they're right or, again, that they apply to you. You might have different experiences. You might have different thoughts, and I would love to hear them in the comments below. Share them, and yeah, let me know what you thought about the video. I hope this helped you, and I wish you the best of luck. It's going to take a lot of work, but if you really want to make it happen, I'm sure you can make it happen. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Weasel. I'm out, and I hope to see you around. Bye-bye.